Don't you think the shortcut to changing policy would be to implement this carbon tax?
I think that would be a great thing, sure. What do you mean the shortcut?
Because if you create a negative externality on companies that are penalized for polluting the environment, ultimately people respond to dollar signs,
Yeah,
right?
definitely, definitely.
So if you make the industry less profitable. Also, there is a way to quantify how much carbon an oil company puts into the sky?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a barrel of oil has a set amount of carbon inside of it. You can measure it. And when it's all burned up, that carbon has nowhere to go but
Right.
into the atmosphere. And the reason we have society is because we have cheap oil. And the reason we have cheap oil is because oil is like the one thing that we allow to pollute the world, but we don't actually police. If you were making shampoo and you wanted to have all this, runoff and wastewater, you couldn't just dump it into a pond or you couldn't just dump it into the road. The EPA comes down and says, hey, you're polluting the earth and you're, making babies deform and that kind of stuff. Cut it out. But if you go to a power plant, they're not capturing that carbon. They just dump it right into the atmosphere, and they've been doing it for 100 years. And finally, we're at the tipping point where we've put too much in, and it's starting to be a problem. So a carbon tax is really just a shortcut to putting the real costs of the stuff that we have on our things. Like that price that we use to clean up the carbon is going to trickle down and be on, the pump, and it's going to be on this bottle of beer that you're drinking, and pretty much everything else that oil touches to get, into our daily lives, which is pretty much anything. So yes, carbon tax basically sets the playing field level and brings out the real economy behind all this kind of stuff.